There is one question that, if answered honestly, can change your life forever. What foolish thing am I doing that I could stop right now? Most people will never ask themselves this question. They will move through life making the same mistakes, indulging in the same distractions, repeating the same excuses. They will waste years trapped in habits that drain them, lost in cycles of regret, waiting for something, anything, to force them to change. But time does not wait. It moves forward, relentlessly, indifferent to whether or not you are ready. Buddha once said, "Pain is certain, suffering is optional." And yet, most people choose suffering without even realizing it. They cling to toxic habits, nurture limiting beliefs, and surrender their potential in exchange for fleeting comfort. They know they need to change. They know they are capable of more. But knowledge without action is meaningless. So ask yourself, what is holding me back? Is it procrastination, fear, the endless search for distractions that numb the discomfort of facing your own potential? More importantly, how much longer are you willing to let these things control you? Because the truth is simple. No one is coming to save you. There will be no perfect moment, no divine sign, no sudden surge of motivation that makes everything easy. If you do not take responsibility for your own transformation, you may never get another chance. But there is a way out. There is a path to mastery, to liberation, to unshakable strength. For thousands of years, Buddhist principles have guided those seeking freedom, not just from external suffering, but from the prisons they build within their own minds. These principles are not theories, they are tools, and if you have the courage to wield them, they will change everything. This is not about motivation. This is not about empty words meant to make you feel good for a moment before you return to your old patterns. This is about awakening, about seeing clearly for the first time the power you have always possessed. But first, you must be willing to look in the mirror and confront the truth. You must be willing to stop lying to yourself, to stop hiding behind excuses, to stop waiting for change, and start creating it. Your future is not written. It is forged in the choices you make at this moment. So the question is, are you ready? Your mind is the battlefield where the war for your future is fought. Every thought, every habit, every decision, these are your weapons. If you are not in control of them, then someone or something else is. Most people live as prisoners of their own minds. They tell themselves stories about why they cannot change, why they are stuck, why discipline is too hard. They repeat the same excuses over and over until they believe them, and so they never move forward. A student once asked his master, "Why do I always fall back into bad habits?" The master handed him 2 stones, one smooth, polished and light, the other rough, heavy and jagged. "Which one do you think will sink faster if dropped in water?" "The heavy one," the student answered. The master nodded. "And why?" "Because it carries more weight." The master smiled. "And so it is with your habits. The more weight you give them, the faster they pull you down." This is where most people fail. They carry their past mistakes like heavy stones, allowing them to drag them under. They replay their failures, their regrets, their weaknesses. Instead of learning from them and moving forward, they drown in them. But here is the truth. Your past has no power unless you allow it to. Every moment is a new chance to rewrite your story. Every decision is an opportunity to change your direction. But this requires a shift in mindset. You must stop seeing yourself as someone who is trying to change and start seeing yourself as someone who has already changed. The difference between the weak and the strong is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is identity. A person who sees themselves as weak will always act weak. A person who identifies as undisciplined will always make excuses. But a person who declares, "I am disciplined," even before it feels true, will begin to act accordingly. There is a reason monks repeat mantras. There is a reason warriors train in silence before stepping onto the battlefield. It is not just about physical preparation. It is about conditioning the mind. It is about programming yourself to become the person you want to be, not in the future, but now. So ask yourself, who am I training myself to become? Are you reinforcing weakness, or are you strengthening discipline? Are you feeding excuses, or are you cultivating action? Because the mind is like a garden. Whatever you water grows. If you feed distractions, they will consume you. If you nurture focus, it will empower you. If you allow negativity to take root, it will choke every opportunity before it can bloom. A wise man once said, "The secret to success is simple. Stop doing what makes you weak. If something drains you, eliminate it. If something distracts you, cut it out. If a habit weakens your mind, destroy it before it destroys you." Most people wait for a sign before they change. They wait for motivation, for some external force to push them forward. But the truth is, change begins when you decide to stop waiting. So the question remains, how much longer will you wait? Your mind is the battlefield where the war for your future is fought. Every thought, every habit, every decision, these are your weapons. If you are not in control of them, then someone or something else is. Most people live as prisoners of their own minds, locked in patterns of distraction and hesitation. They tell themselves stories about why they cannot change, why they are stuck, why discipline is too hard. These stories, repeated enough times, become truth, not because they are real, but because they are believed, and so they never move forward. They live in cycles of starting and stopping, of bursts of motivation followed by long periods of inaction. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mindset, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is an illusion, a lie the weak tell themselves to justify waiting. A student once asked his master, "Why do I always fall back into bad habits?" The master handed him 2 stones, one smooth, polished and light, the other rough, heavy and jagged. "Which one do you think will sink faster if dropped in water?" The student answered, "The heavy one." The master nodded. "And why?" The student thought for a moment before replying, "Because it carries more weight." The master smiled. "And so it is with your habits. The more weight you give them, the faster they pull you down. This is where most people fail. They carry their past mistakes like heavy stones, allowing them to drag them under. They replay their failures, their regrets, their weaknesses. Instead of learning from them and moving forward, they drown in them. They believe that because they have failed before, they will fail again. They let past mistakes define them instead of refine them. But here is the truth. Your past has no power unless you allow it to. Every moment is a new chance to rewrite your story. Every decision is an opportunity to change your direction. But this requires a shift in mindset. You must stop seeing yourself as someone who is trying to change and start seeing yourself as someone who has already changed. The difference between the weak and the strong is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is identity. A person who sees themselves as weak will always act weak. A person who identifies as undisciplined will always make excuses. But a person who declares, "I am disciplined," even before it feels true, will begin to act accordingly, because the mind follows identity. The mind conforms to the beliefs you reinforce. If you tell yourself you are weak, your actions will reflect weakness. If you tell yourself you are a warrior, your actions will reflect strength. There is a reason monks repeat mantras. There is a reason warriors train in silence before stepping onto the battlefield. It is not just about physical preparation, it is about conditioning the mind. It is about programming yourself to become the person you want to be, not in the future, but now. You cannot wait until you feel ready. You cannot wait until you feel strong. Strength is built in action, in movement, in being the thing you wish to become. A warrior does not wait until he feels courageous to fight. He fights, and through battle, he becomes courageous. A disciplined person does not wait until he feels motivated to act. He acts, and through action, he becomes disciplined. So ask yourself, who am I training myself to become? Are you reinforcing weakness, or are you strengthening discipline? Are you feeding excuses, or are you cultivating action? Because the mind is like a garden. Whatever you water grows. If you feed distractions, they will consume you. If you nurture focus, it will empower you. If you allow negativity to take root, it will choke every opportunity before it can bloom. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize they are doing this. They are unaware of the weeds growing in their minds, unaware that every excuse they make, every time they delay, every time they scroll mindlessly instead of building their future, they are choosing weakness over strength. A wise man once said, "The secret to success is simple. Stop doing what makes you weak. If something drains you, eliminate it. If something distracts you, cut it out. If a habit weakens your mind, destroy it before it destroys you." There is no middle ground. There is no balance between discipline and distraction. There is only a choice. Will you take control, or will you allow yourself to be controlled? Most people wait for a sign before they change. They wait for motivation, for some external force to push them forward. But the truth is, change begins when you decide to stop waiting. The moment you stop waiting for motivation, stop waiting for the right moment, stop waiting for permission, and simply act, that is the moment everything shifts. So the question remains, how much longer will you wait? Because every moment wasted is a moment that could have been used to build yourself into something unshakable, and time, once lost, does not return. Your life is the sum of your decisions. Every action, every habit, every thought, it all shapes who you are becoming. Most people do not realize this. They believe that life is happening to them, that they are powerless against their circumstances, that they must wait for the right opportunity, the right mindset, the right motivation. But the truth is, you are already shaping your future in this very moment. The way you spend your time today determines who you will be tomorrow. The way you handle distractions now determines your level of focus in the years to come. The way you respond to challenges today dictates whether you will rise or remain stagnant. Nothing is random. Everything is a result of your choices. A monk once told his student, "Imagine there are two wolves inside you. One is discipline, strength, and clarity. The other is weakness, doubt, and distraction. These two wolves are constantly at war. Which one wins?" The student thought for a moment and said, "The one I feed the most." The monk smiled. Exactly. Most people spend their entire lives feeding the wrong wolf. They indulge in distractions, procrastinate, make excuses, and then wonder why they feel lost. They allow weakness to take root, thinking that one more day of delay, one more wasted hour, one more ignored opportunity will not make a difference. But it does, because every decision is training. Every moment spent in weakness makes weakness stronger. Every moment spent in discipline makes discipline stronger. And over time, those small choices determine everything. This is why the ancient masters trained relentlessly, not just physically, but mentally. They understood that the strongest warriors are not the ones with the sharpest swords, but the ones with the sharpest minds. A man can have all the skill in the world, but if his mind is weak, he will hesitate, and in that hesitation, he will be defeated. A person can have talent, intelligence, and ambition, but if they cannot control their own thoughts, if they cannot master their own mind, they will always be at the mercy of their emotions, their distractions, their doubts. And that is the difference between those who achieve and those who do not. Not intelligence, not luck. Discipline. Most people think discipline is about restriction, about depriving themselves of pleasure. But this is a lie. Discipline is freedom. It is freedom from hesitation, freedom from weakness, freedom from the chains of procrastination and self-doubt. A person without discipline is a slave to their emotions, their impulses, their fears. But a person with discipline, they move with clarity. They take action without hesitation. They are unstoppable. They do not wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They do not waste time explaining their plans to people who will never understand. They simply act, because they know that every second wasted in hesitation is a second stolen from their future. A student once asked his master, "How do I become disciplined?" The master led him to a large rock. "Push this rock," he said. The student tried, but the rock did not move. "I cannot," the student admitted. The master nodded. "Push it every day." The student was confused but obeyed. Every morning he pushed the rock, but it never budged. Weeks passed, months. Still, the rock did not move. Frustrated, the student returned to his master and said, "I have failed." The master smiled and pointed at the student's arms. "Have you?" The student looked down and realized something. His muscles had grown stronger. His endurance had increased. His body had transformed. The rock had never been the test. He had been the test. This is how discipline works. It is not about immediate results. It is not about overnight success. It is about training yourself day after day, even when nothing seems to be changing. It is about showing up when you do not feel like it, pushing forward when you want to quit, taking action when every part of you wants to delay. Because every moment of discipline strengthens you. Every time you push the rock, you grow, even if you do not see it immediately. And then one day, without warning, something shifts. The rock moves, the mind sharpens, the path becomes clear, and you realize that everything you have endured, everything you have struggled through, was not for nothing. It was shaping you into something unstoppable. But most people never reach this point. They quit before the rock moves. They stop training before the transformation happens. They let the voice of weakness convince them that effort is wasted if results are not immediate. But those who endure, those who persist, those who refuse to break, they are the ones who rise. They are the ones who achieve the impossible, because they understand the truth. Discipline is not about the outcome. It is about becoming the person who is capable of any outcome. So the question is simple. Are you feeding the right wolf? Are you training yourself to be strong, or are you reinforcing weakness? Are you taking control of your mind, or are you allowing hesitation to control you? Because whether you realize it or not, every moment is a decision. Every action is a vote for the person you are becoming. And if you do not take full control of your mind, someone or something else will. There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when everything feels easy. But there is this moment. And in this moment, you can choose. You can choose to wait, to hesitate, to remain the same. Or you can choose to act, to move, to take full control of your mind, your habits, your future. And in doing so, you will become something unshakable, something that no obstacle, no fear, no doubt can ever break. There is a silent war happening every day, one that most people never acknowledge, yet it dictates the course of their entire lives. It is not a war fought on battlefields, but within the mind, a war between action and hesitation, between discipline and weakness, between focus and distraction. Most people are losing this war, and they do not even realize it. They wake up with ambition, but allow distractions to steal their time. They speak of dreams, but take no steps toward them. They know what they should be doing, yet they choose comfort over progress, entertainment over mastery, ease over greatness. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why their lives remain unchanged, why they look in the mirror and do not recognize the person staring back at them. A student once asked his master, "How do I stop procrastinating?" The master gave him a candle and told him to light it. "Watch the flame," the master instructed. The student obeyed, staring at the flickering fire. Minutes passed. Then the master blew out the candle and asked, "Where did the flame go?" The student hesitated. "It disappeared," he said. The master shook his head. "Number, it did not disappear. You killed it." The student looked confused. The master continued, "Procrastination is like this flame. It does not leave on its own. You must destroy it. You must remove the breath that feeds it." Most people do not understand this. They think procrastination is something that will fade over time, that one day they will simply wake up motivated. But that day never comes, because motivation is not something you find, it is something you create. And it is created through discipline, through training the mind to move forward, whether it feels ready or not. The ancient masters understood this. They did not wait for perfect conditions to act. They trained themselves to act despite conditions. A monk does not meditate only when he feels peaceful. He meditates to become peaceful. A warrior does not sharpen his blade only when he feels strong. He sharpens it so that when the battle comes, he is strong. And those who master their minds do not take action only when they feel inspired. They take action until inspiration becomes irrelevant. Most people fail because they are waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the fear to disappear, waiting for someone to tell them they are ready. But the truth is, you are ready the moment you decide to be. Every day you hesitate, you train your mind to hesitate more. Every day you delay, you make delay a habit. And over time, hesitation becomes who you are. And then, one day you wake up and realize that life has passed you by, that the dreams you once had are no longer possible, that the time you wasted cannot be reclaimed. A river does not stop because there is a rock in its path. It does not hesitate. It does not turn back. It finds another way. It carves through stone if necessary. It does not ask for permission to keep moving. And you must be the same. You must train yourself to take action with the same certainty that a river flows, to move forward, regardless of obstacles, regardless of doubt, regardless of fear. A wise man once said, "If you want to take the island, burn the boats." Most people fail because they leave themselves an escape. They tell themselves, "I will try," instead of "I will." They give themselves a way out, an excuse to quit when things get difficult. But those who succeed remove the option of failure. They commit fully. They burn the boats that allow retreat. They force themselves to move forward, knowing that there is no other path except victory. So ask yourself, have you truly committed, or have you left yourself an escape? Have you burned the boats, or are you still allowing yourself the option of retreat? Because if you give yourself the option to fail, you will take it. If you allow hesitation to exist, it will consume you. If you do not control your mind, it will control you. Most people will never understand this. They will wait their entire lives for the right moment, the right feeling, the right conditions. But those who rise, those who succeed, those who become unshakable, they do not wait. They move. They take action. They destroy hesitation before it has a chance to take root. They wake up every day with one goal: to move forward. Even if it is just an inch, even if it is just a small step, they refuse to remain still. And because of that, they win. They rise. They separate themselves from the masses, from those who will spend their lives wondering why nothing changed. So the only question left is, will you take action now? Or will you wait one more day, one more excuse, one more wasted opportunity? Because if you wait long enough, life will make the decision for you. And by then, it may be too late. There comes a time when you must face a brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the discipline you need. No one is going to force you to focus. No one is going to push you to take action. If you do not take responsibility for your own life, you will remain exactly where you are. This is what separates the strong from the weak, the disciplined from the distracted, the ones who rise from the ones who remain stuck in their own excuses. Most people do not fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they refuse to take ownership of their own destiny. They wait for someone to tell them what to do, to guide them, to inspire them. But those who succeed, they understand that no one is coming. They understand that their future is in their hands. They understand that they are the only ones who can make the decision to move forward. A student once asked his master, "Why do so many people remain weak, even though they say they want to be strong?" The master handed him a piece of paper and a pen. "Write down all the reasons you have not achieved what you want." The student filled the page. Excuses about time, circumstances, fear, self-doubt. The master took the paper, set it on fire, and let it burn. "Now," the master said, "what is stopping you?" The student stared at the ashes in silence. The master continued, "Everything you wrote was an illusion. None of it was real. The only thing stopping you was your belief that you were stopped." Most people are trapped in their own minds. They build walls around themselves, convincing themselves that their struggles are unique, that their obstacles are too great, that their circumstances are different. But the truth is, every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced fear. Every warrior has faced doubt. Every master has struggled with discipline. The difference is, they did not allow these things to control them. They did not accept hesitation as part of their identity. They did not give weakness a voice. They acted anyway. The mind is the most powerful force you will ever control. It can be your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. It can push you forward or keep you chained to the same patterns forever. Most people never learn to control their own minds. They allow their thoughts to drift aimlessly, allowing fear and doubt to dictate their actions. They live in reaction, not creation. They let external circumstances determine their mood, their motivation, their direction. But the ones who succeed, they take full control. They train their minds like a warrior trains his body. They do not allow weakness to exist. They do not entertain hesitation. They do not wait for the right moment because they create the right moment. A river does not need permission to flow. A storm does not wait for approval before it moves. And those who master themselves do not ask themselves whether they feel ready before they take action. They just move. They understand that hesitation is a disease, that procrastination is a slow poison, that waiting is the fastest way to guarantee failure. They do not waste time justifying their inaction. They wake up and they act. A man once asked the Buddha, "How do I find inner strength?" The Buddha handed him a cup and told him to fill it with water. The man did. Then the Buddha said, "Now pour more." The man hesitated. "But Master, the cup is already full." The Buddha nodded. So it is with the mind. If it is full of excuses, there is no room for strength. If it is full of fear, there is no space for confidence. Empty the cup, and strength will come. This is the truth. You must empty your mind of hesitation. You must remove every excuse, every delay, every moment of weakness. You must replace it with certainty, with discipline, with action. Most people will never do this. They will continue to wait. They will continue to hesitate. And they will continue to wonder why their lives remain the same. But you have a choice. You can continue to entertain distractions, continue to live in hesitation, continue to allow weakness to control you. Or you can decide right now that hesitation will no longer be part of your life, that excuses will no longer have a place in your mind, that you will wake up every day with a singular focus to move forward. No matter how small the step, no matter how difficult the path, you will move. Because in the end, success is not given, it is earned, and it is earned through action, through discipline, through the relentless refusal to let anything stand in your way. So the only question left is, will you rise or will you wait? Because time does not wait for anyone, and if you do not take control now, you may wake up one day and realize that life has already made the decision for you. There will come a moment when you realize that everything you have been waiting for, every opportunity, every transformation, every step forward, has always been within your control. There is no magical moment when discipline suddenly clicks into place. There is no divine signal that tells you this is the time to act. The only thing that separates those who succeed from those who remain stagnant is decision. A decision to stop waiting. A decision to stop hesitating. A decision to stop negotiating with weakness and instead demand strength from oneself. But most people never reach this realization. They live their lives believing that success is something that happens to others, that discipline is a rare gift given to the fortunate few. They never stop to consider that those who have mastered themselves are not different. They are simply people who refuse to tolerate their own excuses. A student once asked his master, "How do I become unstoppable?" The master smiled and led him to a large tree, its roots deep, its branches high. "Push it," the master said. The student laughed. "Master, I cannot move a tree." The master nodded. "Then push it every day." Confused but obedient, the student did as he was told. Every morning, he pushed against the massive trunk. Weeks passed, months, the tree never moved. Frustrated, the student returned to his master and said, "This is pointless. No matter how hard I push, the tree will not move." The master smiled and pointed to the student's arms, now strong and defined, his posture solid, his balance unshakable. "The purpose was never to move the tree," the master said. "The purpose was to move you." Most people fail because they expect immediate results. They start training their mind, their body, their discipline, and when they do not see instant transformation, they quit. They believe effort is wasted if it does not provide an immediate reward. But the truth is, the work is always working, even when you cannot see it. Every disciplined action, every moment of focus, every push forward, even if it seems small, is carving something greater within you. The only ones who fail are the ones who stop. The only ones who remain weak are the ones who refuse to persist. There is a concept in Buddhism called Shoshin, the beginner's mind. It teaches that the moment you believe you have learned everything, you stop growing. The moment you believe you have done enough, you stop improving. This is why those who reach the highest levels of mastery never stop training. The greatest warriors still sharpen their swords daily. The wisest monks still meditate every morning. The strongest minds still push themselves beyond comfort, beyond what is necessary, beyond what is expected. Because they understand that mastery is not a destination, it is a lifelong commitment. The moment you stop sharpening yourself, you begin to dull. The moment you stop pushing, you begin to weaken. There is no neutral ground. You are either growing stronger or you are getting weaker. The question is, which direction are you moving in? Most people believe they are standing still, but the truth is, they are slowly declining. Every day spent in hesitation weakens the mind. Every moment wasted in distraction dulls discipline. Every excuse, every delay, every indulgence in weakness strengthens the habit of failure. And then, one day, they wake up and realize they have become something they swore they would never be. mediocre, lost, ordinary. Not because they lacked potential, but because they never used it. But you have a choice. You have the ability to decide right now that this will not be your story. You have the power to take control of your mind, to refuse hesitation, to move forward without fear. You do not need another day of waiting. You do not need more time to prepare. You do not need permission to take action. Everything you need, you already have. The only thing left is for you to use it. A wise man once said, "The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. The second best time is now." And that is the truth. There is no moment more perfect than this one. There is no better time than now. Your future self is waiting, watching, hoping that you will make the choice to act. The person you want to become is not some distant possibility. It is the result of the actions you take today, right now, in this moment. So, what will you do? Will you continue waiting? Will you allow hesitation to rule your life? Will you wake up another day making the same excuses, living the same story, delaying the same dreams? Or will you move? Will you rise? Will you take control of your mind and refuse to be anything less than your full potential? Because the truth is, no one is stopping you. No one is holding you back. No one is keeping you from taking action. The only thing in your way is the belief that something is in your way. And the moment you let go of that belief, the moment you decide, truly decide, that you will no longer accept hesitation, everything changes. You do not need more time. You do not need more motivation. You do not need permission. You only need to move forward, right here, right now. Because nothing, not fear, not doubt, not hesitation, can stop a mind that has decided it will not be stopped. There is a version of you that exists beyond hesitation, beyond fear, beyond every excuse you have ever made. A version of you that does not wait, does not delay, does not doubt its own strength. That version is not some distant fantasy. It is not something you must find. It is something you must unleash, because that version has always been inside you, buried beneath layers of procrastination, comfort, and the false belief that you are not ready. But readiness is an illusion. No one who has ever achieved greatness was ready when they started. They simply began. And through action, through relentless discipline, through the refusal to entertain any thought of failure, they became the person they were meant to be. A student once asked his master, "What is the secret to unshakable discipline?" The master handed him a cup of water. "Hold this still," he said. The student held the cup carefully. The master then pushed his arm. Water spilled. The student frowned. "I failed," he said. The master shook his head. "You did not fail. You simply proved a truth. No matter how carefully you hold something, the world will shake you. The only way to remain steady is to strengthen your grip." Most people do not strengthen their grip. They assume that if they hold on to their dreams loosely, if they only commit halfway, if they only give partial effort, then maybe they can avoid failure. But in doing so, they guarantee failure. Because when life shakes them, when challenges arise, when discipline is tested, they lose their grip. They let go. They quit. And they never even realize that the only reason they failed was because they never truly held on in the first place. This is why those who master themselves commit fully. They do not entertain escape routes. They do not keep failure as an option. They burn the boats, so there is no way back. They hold on so tightly to their purpose that nothing can break them. And because of that, they do not just succeed, they transform. They evolve into something unshakable, untouchable, unstoppable. Most people are waiting for a moment that will force them to change. They wait for rock bottom, for a life-altering event, for pain so deep that they have no choice but to rise. But those who understand the truth know that they do not need to wait for suffering to wake them up. They wake themselves up. They create urgency before life forces it upon them. They take action not because they have to, but because they choose to. And in doing so, they take control of something most people never will, their own destiny. A man once asked the Buddha, "How do I know when I am truly ready to change?" The Buddha smiled and said, "If you were drowning, how hard would you fight for air?" The man answered, "With everything I have." The Buddha nodded. When you want change as badly as you want air, you will not need to ask the question. This is the key. If you are not moving forward, if you are still hesitating, if you are still allowing distractions to rule you, then the question is not, "How do I change?" The question is, "How badly do I want this?" Because those who truly want it, who hunger for it, who burn for it, do not ask what to do. They move. They do not wait for signs. They do not negotiate with fear. They do not allow weakness to speak. They act. They execute. They rise. And so, ask yourself now, are you gripping tightly enough? Are you fully committed? Have you burned every excuse, every delay, every lingering thought that tells you to wait? Or are you still leaving room for hesitation? Are you still waiting for a sign that will never come? Because if you are, understand this. The only thing standing between you and the person you were meant to be is the decision to move now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now the world will not wait for you. Time will not slow down. Opportunities will not pause until you are confident enough to take them. Everything you want is already there, waiting for you to claim it. But if you hesitate too long, it will be gone. So what will you do? Will you continue waiting? Will you let another day slip through your fingers, convincing yourself that you will start tomorrow? Or will you wake up, grip your future with everything you have, and refuse to let go until you have everything you have ever wanted? Because in the end, the only thing that separates the strong from the weak, the disciplined from the distracted, the ones who rise from the ones who remain behind, is decision. And now the decision is yours. There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when fear is absent, when doubt no longer exists, when conditions are ideal for you to begin. And if you continue waiting for that moment, you will spend your entire life in hesitation. That is the mistake most people make. They believe they have time. They believe they can afford to delay, to start tomorrow, to wait until everything aligns. But the truth is, time is slipping away faster than you realize. Every second you hesitate, every day you waste, every excuse you tell yourself is another step toward a future where your dreams no longer exist. And the most dangerous thing? Most people will never wake up to this realization until it is too late. A student once asked his master, "What is the greatest lie people believe?" The master sighed and replied, "That they have enough time." The student frowned. "But master, life is long." The master shook his head. "Life is short to those who hesitate. Life is long only to those who take action. And that is the harsh truth. Time does not move slower for those who wait. It speeds up. It vanishes. The years pass, and before you know it, you look back and wonder where they went. You remember the things you wanted to do, the goals you set, the dreams you once had, and you realize that they are gone, not because they were impossible, not because you lacked the ability, but because you never acted. There is no greater pain than regret. Not the regret of failure, because failure is a lesson, failure is growth, failure is fuel. But the regret of inaction, the regret of knowing you could have but didn't. That is the kind of regret that stays with you forever. That is the weight that never leaves, the silent voice in the back of your mind that whispers, "You had your chance, and you wasted it." And the worst part? No one else is responsible. No external force, no outside influence. It was you. You chose to wait. You chose to delay. You allowed hesitation to dictate your life. And now you must live with the consequences of that choice. But there is still time. If you are reading this now, if you feel the fire inside you, if you know that you were meant for something greater, then understand this. You still have the power to change. You still have the ability to take control. You still have the chance to rewrite everything. But only if you act, not tomorrow, not later. Now, because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. The more you hesitate, the deeper your excuses take root. The mind is like a muscle. What you train it to do, it will continue doing. Train it to hesitate, and hesitation becomes a habit. Train it to move, and action becomes second nature. A warrior does not train for battle on the day of war. He prepares long before the fight arrives. He sharpens his sword daily, strengthens his mind hourly, disciplines his body relentlessly, because he knows that when the moment comes, he will not have time to think. He will only have time to act. And so it must be with you. If you are waiting for the moment to be right, you are already too late. You must prepare now. You must train your mind to take action now. You must build the habit of movement, of progress, of relentless forward motion, so that when life demands greatness from you, hesitation does not exist. A monk once told his disciples, "You will never be remembered for what you thought about doing, only for what you did." The world is filled with people who had ideas but never executed them, who had dreams but never pursued them, who had potential but never used it. Do not be one of them. Do not let your name be lost in the sea of those who could have but never did. Be the one who acted. Be the one who moved. Be the one who, when faced with fear, with doubt, with uncertainty, chose discipline over hesitation, action over delay, power over weakness. So what is stopping you? If you have read this far, if you have felt the truth in these words, then the only thing left is for you to move, to take control, to refuse another day of waiting, another moment of hesitation. There is no more time for excuses.